Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you how to paint bubbles. So pretty bubbles, different colors on a black canvas can be very striking, and these are going to be a lot of fun to paint actually. So quickly I'm going to just go over all the materials we're going to be using today, and I'll list everything below in the description just in case you missed something. First of all, we're going to use a cup. Anything round that you have, I'm going to use this to place on the canvas and trace around so I get a nice perfect round bubble shape. And then if you notice, the bottom of it is smaller so that I can have different sizes. And we've got a black primed 18 by 22, or no, sorry, this is 20 by 22 canvas. So to prime it, I just use Mars Black, and this is Liquitex Basics Acrylics. 2 coats, and I let it dry completely. And I've got my palette here. So I'll just go over the colors that we're going to be using. We've got Phthalo Blue, Magenta, or Quinacridone Violet, Neon Red, Lemon Yellow, and Titanium White. So to begin painting the circles, the bubbles, I'm going to use a number 2 round brush. I'm going to get my brush a little bit wet. I'm going to start with white and a little bit of Phthalo Blue. So I'm going to paint a few, and I'm kind of just going to take my brush, go around, and any little imperfections like this we can take off with a little brush. Can wipe that away, and I'll put another one right here. So I'm just going to take a little bit more of my light blue here. I'm going to make that a little bit thicker. Just in some areas like that. And then make a little scoop like that by dragging my brush, and I'm using this round brush. You can also use a little liner brush. You can use, oh, there's all sorts of brushes you can use for this. A flat brush would work fine. Okay, and then let's add one right about here as well. So now we've got, they already look like bubbles. We're just going to start adding some more highlights and some different colors that are really pretty, like our magenta. So I'm not even going to wash my brush off. Most of the paint is worked out of there. I'm going to take a little bit of white along with that pink. And these are just the colors that I've chosen today, but keep in mind you guys can use any colors that you want for this. And I'm going to do a smaller ring inside of here. And what I could have actually done, and I'll show you, I'll do that again, but I'll turn the cup upside down. Well, actually it's right side up, isn't it? I'm going to switch to a Filbert brush because it's got that round end on it. That will make it easier to scumble some of this off with. And I'm going to take a little bit more of my blue, making it a little bit darker this time. And I'm going to pull down right here and then bring it around almost to the bottom, not quite halfway. And then I'm going to add a little bit more right in here. I'm going to take a little bit of white, pull it around, making that a bit brighter. I'll do the same up here. Grab a little bit of white, and I'm going to do a few little dabs like this. One here, and then dot, dot, dot. Little dabs like that. We'll do that over here as well. More white this time. I'm going to go back over to my liner or round brush. I'm going to do another line in here, and this time it's going to be yellow. So I want to make sure that my brush is all clean. And take a bit of white and a little bit of yellow. Mix the two around, twist and pull. I want to have a little bit of paint on the end of my brush to work with. Okay, and I'm going to try to do this freehand by steadying my pinky. So it really helps to have your pinky right here. I'll do a few. I need a little bit more paint on my brush. Pick up a bit, get it on a tip. A few little lines like that. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Take some more blue now, and I'm going to bring it right inside here. And that'll give me a pretty green color. And it's so much fun to play around with the colors in your bubbles. Just really experiment, you guys, and have fun with it. But you don't have to make any two the same. They're not going to be the same. They're all going to be a little bit different, right? I'm going to take some of my phthalo blue and magenta, and you'll see what a gorgeous color this makes. A little bit more phthalo. We'll get a deep, beautiful purple. And I'm going to start adding it in here, which doesn't show up just yet, but then I'm going to add some white here in a minute. A little bit more blue. I'm going to start flicking out some, almost to make it look like it's sparkling. I'm going to take a little bit of white. Add some dots. I'm going to come in this side with a little bit of my neon red. A little bit too much water on my brush. Let's wipe some of that off. I'm going to pick up a little bit of yellow and neon red with just a tiny bit of white in there. I'm going to go back to my magenta and my white. A little bit of blue. I'm going to take my small flat brush, this is a number 6, get it a little bit wet, and I'm going to take a bit of white. Now this is tinted with a little bit of yellow, a little bit like that. You can use any color you want and tint it. And I'm just going to make this look kind of sparkly. It's almost like the same way of adding some sun rays. I'm going to pull and flick down the side like that. Take a little bit more white. And add bright white right there. And I'm going to add one right in here as well. And I'm going to take some of my neon red. I'm going to come right inside here. Gently dab around. Pull and flick. Line it up from the center. Take some more yellow. I'm going to take one of my smallest little round mop blending brushes. And I'm going to take a little bit of my neon red and a little bit of neon pink, or the magenta. So neon red and magenta. And I'm going to very lightly create small little circles like this over top of these lines. I do it over here as well. Then I'm going to pick up a little bit of blue this time and dust some of that over top. I'm going to take a clean brush and get blue on it. Try to make sure it's not really watery. I want to work the white out. I want this to just be a darker blue color behind that sparkle. I'm going to do the same right in here, picking up more of my magenta. It's mixed with a little bit of blue. And here as well. That's some over here. And go back to my clean flat brush. Oops. And I've still got this white paint on here, but if you don't, you can just pick up a little bit more. So at times I'm using, when I want to make skinnier ones, I'm using just the point, and then, so right here I'm just going to use the very corner, and then here when I want to make it look wider, no, I don't really have any on this part, so I'm going to take the corner of my brush, dab that on. I'm going to put some here and put some right in here as well. I'm going to pull and flick gently. Okay, I think that gives a really nice sparkle effect. I like that. I'm going to try and do the same thing over here, a little bit quicker this time, since my paint seems to be drying fairly quickly, so I've got to work with it fast. Got a little bit more white inside, making that really bright. And then pulling and flicking down here. Whoops, not there. I'm going to take a little bit more of my neon red. I just want some more color right in here. So here I've got a little bit of neon pink. Add that right in there. Ooh, that's pretty. I like that. Just a little bit right in here as well. Take a little bit more white. A little bit more white just like this. Picking up a little bit of that pink as I pull and flick my brush. I'm going to go back right in here and just add a little bit more of a dark color. And for that, I took magenta and a little bit of blue. And I went over top of that orangey color that I made with neon red and yellow, so that's why it might look a little bit brown. Okay, so I want to move on to making a few smaller ones. My cup, turn it over like this, and maybe we'll overlap. We'll put a bigger one right here. So I take a little bit of water in my brush, pull around. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a voiceover right now, guys. The puppies decided to start barking at a neighbor going by the house, and I didn't want you guys to have to hear that, so I'm taking magenta, and then I'm taking a little bit of neon pink, and I'm just going to start adding colors wherever I want to, whatever colors I want, and I want you guys to feel inspired to do this as well. Don't worry about what colors you're using, just pick whatever speaks to you and whatever colors that you love, and go with that, in combination with adding little dabs and dots of white for some highlights, and then these little sparkly looking stars. So I've got a little bit of yellow, and I'm using my lemon yellow that I really like. I'm just about out of it, actually. I'm gonna have to order some more soon. And then I'm gonna wash my brush in between and soften a little bit of the color. It's a little bit thick right there, so I just took a bit of it off. And I'm gonna just increase the colors, intensity, more yellow this time, taking a little bit of phthalo blue, and I'm gonna make a shade of turquoise here. And once that's mixed up, I'm gonna add it around the bottom side here and then create a little star with this color. I will add bright white after to make that really, really pop out. And then I'm coming in with phthalo blue right here. What's really nice about using all these colors is that they overlap and blend really nicely together, so you can't go wrong. They all look pretty together. And I encourage you guys to try to layer colors, thin layers. You know, put blue over pink, blue over turquoise, yellow over the neon red, the neon pink, etc. Then you get all those beautiful colors, and it almost kind of looks like a rainbow. So I'm going to come in and start making these smaller bubbles now. They're going to get smaller and smaller and more indistinct, less detail, of course, because the smaller they are, the less detail I'm going to be able to add to them. And I really want the focus to be on the larger ones. I'm going to go back to these ones here, add a little bit more of my neon pink, and continue to add a little bit of color and highlight to those smaller ones as well. Now right here I just decided I wanted to overlap slightly and make another larger bubble. I did this one in turquoise, and then I'm coming in with a little bit of my phthalo and white. I'm going to add my highlights here. So what you want to do is just use the same rules that you did for the first bubble, the first one or two bubbles, with the highlights and the layering of colors, but just kind of change it up with each bubble you do. So maybe change where you added the highlights, paint them the same, different colors, and change the angle that they're at. Okay, I'm going to go over with some magenta, maybe some pink, and some bright highlights. I have to say these have been so much fun to paint, and I'm getting ideas for Christmas time because I think that I can try this same technique with some Christmas ornaments on a tree, or just a close-up painting of Christmas ornaments. I'm going to come inside some of these and add more of my phthalo, magenta, and a little bit of white. That'll get me that pretty almost ultramarine blue look that has kind of a purple hint to it. And a bit more turquoise right here. Adding a few little sparkles and stars. Okay, I'm just going to define these smaller bubbles a little bit more. I added some more turquoise, and I'm really not using much water at all for this process. And what also looks really nice together, you guys, is mixing phthalo blue with turquoise.
Now, one color that I wish that I could have added to this, but unfortunately I cannot find any more right now, is my Neon Purple Violet by Whole Bean. So if you have that, that would look really, really pretty incorporated in this painting in these bubbles. But my magenta is looking quite pretty, and when it's combined with the phthalo blue, it looks quite nice. But there's really nothing like that neon purple violet. It's just got such a unique intensity and hue to it. It's not such a bad thing though if I run out of a color and I can't get it right away, because it kind of gets me out of my comfort zone and makes me think outside of my go-to colors, and I start experimenting with a different color palette. For example, lately I've been using a lot of yellow ochre. Actually, for this painting I didn't use any, but if you guys have been following me and watching my latest videos, a lot of them I've been using yellow ochre in, and I would not have gone to that color if I had my regular colors on hand. And surprisingly, yellow ochre looks very nice and complementary with almost every color. I'm just going to add the final dots and dabs to these bubbles.
Okay guys, I think this painting is all done. This was really fun to paint. I've actually never painted bubbles like this before. I've added just a few little ones here and there in my fantasy paintings, and I really wanted to try this on the black canvas, and I love it. All the colors look so pretty against this black canvas, and I got to use all my favorite colors. Again, I'll list everything below for you guys, as well as the brushes I'm using and the size of canvas and what I primed it with. So don't forget to give this video a like, leave a comment below if you enjoyed watching this, and if you have a request of anything that you'd like to see me paint, head over to Patreon where I can talk one-on-one with you, and I'll see you next time everybody. Bye! Thanks so much for watching.